What is a Three Sisters garden? Well, I'm glad you asked. A Three Sisters garden is a Native American method of companion planting that typically combines three crops, which are corn, squash, and beans. And you plant them in such a way that they have a symbiotic relationship with each other where they help each other out. The corn, you want to plant it first because it's going to be the pole for your pole beans. So it's going to give the beans something to climb up, okay? The beans fix nitrogen in the soil. All legumes do, and like vetch and clover, and there's some other plants that are really good plants for adding nitrogen to your soil. And corn is very nitrogen hungry, so it's a good companion for corn. And then the squash you plant, and it shades the base of the tree and helps to keep it from drying out too much. And so these are the Three Sisters. And the reason I thought it was a good idea for me to do it this year is because I already had bought some pole bean seeds for my vertical garden. And then my friend Allie said that her sister had some squash starts, and did I want them? And I thought, oh, well, I already have beans, and if I have squash, then all I would need is to buy some corn seeds, and then I could do a Three Sisters. And so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so if you watch the video where I used the chicken tractor to prep the area there for my soil, where there. Okay. I'm gonna do a little more soil prep for it. I'm gonna pause the video and then I'll tell you what I did. Now, as I have mentioned before, my chickens had sort of prepped the soil for me. They ate the weed seeds, they ate some of the grass, they scratched at the soil. I did a little more. I put my pitchfork in and I was stabbing and twisting just to aerate the soil. And I put down a layer of mulch. It should be very, very nitrogen rich. We make really, I'm sorry, it's not a layer of mulch, it's a layer of compost. Yes, a layer of compost that's very nitrogen rich. And then over that, I put a layer of soil from my back garden. Kind of like how I did while planting the pole beans. Now, the traditional Native American method would be, before you plant your corn, you stick a dead fish in the soil, and this actually would add nutrients. And I actually had a couple of dead fish from my barrels. They're itty bitty teeny weeny, but it would have made me feel like if I put a fish in there that I was like being very traditional. I wish I had saved one of them, but the chickens ate them, so they were not wasted. Anyway, I'm only going to be planting corn today because, as I mentioned before, the corn needs a head start. So the pole beans have something to climb up, okay? So I've got some sweet corn here, and I always heard, and whenever I have planted corn, that for each plant that you want to get, you're going to have to plant 4 seeds, expecting 3 of them not to take. And as you plant them, you say 1 for the mouse, 1 for the crow, 1 to rot, and 1 to grow. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to put 1 right in the center of the hill, 1 for the mouse, 1 for the crow, 1 to rot, and 1 to grow. And I'm going to put 3 more. No, I'm going to put 4, I think. 1 for the mouse, 1 for the crow, 1 to rot, 1 to grow. 1 for the mouse, 1 for the crow, 1 to rot, 1 to grow. 1 for the mouse, 1 for the crow, 1 to rot, and 1 to grow. 1 more. 1 for the mouse, 1 for the crow, 1 to rot, and one to grow. Okay, I'm probably gonna put some mulch on top before I water it so that it won't dry out so quickly. I'll either cover it with like hay or maybe wood chips. I'll see what I have laying around. So I planted 5, I don't know how many squash plants Allie's sister has for me, but I think I did 5 corn spots in each one. So if there's 5 spots, that's 25 corn plants. I want to cover them with some sort of like a mulch, something to shade the soil, because that's what the squash plants will do. But in the meantime, I don't want the soil to dry out. So what I did was I gathered some spent hay from the chicken run. The reason that I'm using the spent hay rather than fresh hay, which I have, and I'll give more to the chickens, is because spent hay is better, because the chickens have already eaten all the weed seeds out of this hay. Otherwise, like, you know, it would grow more weeds. And also they've been pooping on this hay, so that's just extra fertilizer. And it's what I had around. You know, I could have went to the store and got straw, which doesn't have weed seeds, but I have spent hay, so why not use it? Okay, so I covered my 3 sisters' garden with some spent hay, and I watered the bejesus out of it. And the spent hay should help to keep the soil moist until I am ready to plant the squash. And I guess all we do now is wait for the corn to grow. And once the corn has a little bit of a head start, then we can plant our beans so that the beans will have something to climb up. Okay, so I've got the eggs here. The chickens laid them right there. They're supposed to lay them in the nesting boxes, which are in their, that's in here. Oh, and look, there is one in the nesting boxes. But what I will do to encourage them to lay where they are supposed to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I have a fake egg, so this can stay here all the time, and I don't have to worry about whether or not, I think we need more hay in there. There we go. There we go. So that will sit in that nest, and I've also got some golf balls. And I guess chickens aren't very bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple golf balls here and a couple golf balls there. And usually if they see an egg somewhere, they want to lay next to that egg. So this hopefully will encourage them to lay where they're supposed to lay. I'm going to go bring in those other eggs. Okay. This bug that I found is like so gross. He's so freaking gross. Look at him. He's huge and ow, ow, ow. Ugh. He's huge. Like, here, just for some perspective, this is my hand. Gah, ew. He's so gross. He's like the size of like, ew. I'm gonna, ew. He's so beetly and gross. Ew. Oh God. Look at him. Ugh. Ugh. Blah. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this big, gross, disgusting bug and I'm gonna feed it to the chickens. Hey, you guys want to eat something really gross? Look at this. Chickies. Chickies, what's this? What's that? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that bug. Look at it right there. Look at it. Right there. Look at it. Look at it. What's that? Right there. What's that? Do you see it? I think you see it, Fev. Feather, get it. What if I poke him? If I poke him, will you see that he's alive? Look at him. Ugh. Look at that bug. Look at that bug. Ugh. Yeah, I know. Look at him. You want him. You want him, don't you? Ew! You got him. Look, look. Go ahead. Eat him. Ew! 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 Ah! Blah! Ew! Gross! Ah! Ugh! 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 Gross! And look, the thing is, like, it's okay. I'm not trying to scare you. I just want to film it. It's like freaking Mutual of Omaha's like wild kingdom here. And yeah, she's gonna eat him. Go ahead, Feather. You ain't afraid of a big bug. I am, though. And she's still eating that bug. It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you away from your bug. She's like, don't take my bug. I'm gonna bring my bug over here so nobody else can take my bug. The bigger and grosser the bugs, the more I like feeding them to the chickens. It's really, really disgusting. One time I found this grub. It was so huge and it was so gross. Oh my God, and all the hens were all pecking at it. It was so gross. I don't mind like worms and stuff, but there's certain bugs that are just so icky. Gross. Okay. I told you that the soil we make is good. Look at the size of this earthworm. Look at the size of him. He's like, oh my God. Look at him. He's like as fat as my, yeah. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna feed him to the chickens as well. Just because we're in the mood for gross stuff. Now this guy's gonna be a meal. They're gonna love him. Hi, Beak. How you doing, buddy? Would you like some worm? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, yum, yum. Oh.